Five? I think it'd be great. I don't know if
Okay, folks, it's that time. Sorry to be disruptive. Is everybody having a good time so far? Learning things? How about the food and the beverage? Huh? Food and beverage game is strong here. Thank you, Megan and the planning staff. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Well done. So I know the breakout sessions have just been off the charts today, and that's something that we talk about quite a bit as an organization, and how can we most efficiently serve you? So something that I failed to mention this morning when I got on the toilet paper thing, I skipped a whole page of dialogue. And I felt the stare of Megan's eyes burning a hole into the back of my head, like, no, what about office hours? So for those of you that might have missed it, we created a new thing this year, which is office hours. So basically, we're offering you an opportunity to meet one-on-one with some of these subject matter experts in kind of a little office hours setting, and allow you to dive deeper and ask very specific questions and kind of get more technical assistance than maybe you might feel comfortable doing in the group environment in a breakout session. So we had those earlier today. Do we have office hours this afternoon as well?
We'll have the rest of the conference during breakouts.
There it is, during breakouts, the rest of the conference, office hours. Tomorrow morning, I think I might even participate in one with some of my colleagues from OCJS. So please take advantage of that. Is everybody squared away on the video production that's occurring? I lost my muscle that was going to take them out if you had a problem with it. So if you have an issue with being videoed, you're going to have to just charge the camera guys yourself back there. Okay? Something that I think I need to do more of, and we should all be doing more of, is really thanking the folks that make this whole thing possible. And the group from the ODA works tirelessly over the whole year trying to plan this thing and put it all together and to make sure it's an exceptional event. Not just in terms of the content and arranging speakers and all those things, but all the logistics that go into these conferences. And so, with my work with the state narcotics officer folks and the national organizations and all of those things, I've never been a part of a group that plans it as intricately as this one. So, to Mike and Megan and Nicole and Steve and everybody, and Nan and Tom and all the folks on the planning committee, just give them a round of applause because they kill it. They really do. It's so well done. I look at myself and go, how in the heck did I end up with this much? This is way more professional than anything I've ever been associated with. I also want to just take a moment and thank her.
Keep going. Just lost connection.
Oh,
You're good.
all right.
Keep going.
That was close. She doesn't know how close she came. I was reaching for my gun, but I don't carry one anymore, so. Now I'm pretty sure she could take me.
You just keep going.
So I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Cordata. We couldn't do this without them. We couldn't do a lot of things without them, but they are exceptional partners. And Gary, great presentation as always this morning. Thank you for that, sir. And, I would just share with you behind the scenes, Cordata has been working tirelessly to advance deflection programming here in Ohio and working with state government, our legislators, and state agencies to try and get deflection put into the state budget to ensure that we have sustainability for the future moving forward. And they do that because they believe in what you do, not because it's profitable for them. They're not that kind of partner. Although Gary's board probably wishes he was that kind of partner some days, but that's not who they are. So we really appreciate the work that you guys are doing there. I also wanted to thank our restoration sponsor, which is the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. Round of applause for them. Thank you. Thank you. Our innovation sponsors, Boulder and Endivier. Thank you. Thank you. You guys sensing a trend here? This is a participation activity. Deflection Champion sponsors, Transitions, Sunstone, Glenwood Behavioral Health. And then our vendors, and I'm going to try to read this through my bifocals. I had to take a picture. Ascend, Brayburn RX, Brightview, Community Medical Services, the Ohio Narcotics Association of Regional Coordinating Officers, Northeast Medical University Substance Use Deflection Initiative, New Vista Behavioral Health, the Ohio Department of Health, the Ohio Department of Public Safety DREAM Project, the Ohio Narcotics Intelligence Center, Police Assisted Addiction and Recovery Initiative, PARI. I know Brittany's in the room somewhere. Positive Recovery Solutions, and Sunrise Treatment Center. Boom. Yeah, all those folks make all of this possible, and we're just really blessed. So, earlier this morning, we had a schedule flip. So this gentleman was supposed to present this morning and we had to change because of an afternoon conflict with one of the other speakers, and he was incredibly gracious to do that. So I'm going to introduce Travis Bornstein. And Travis is the father of Tyler, who died at the age of 23 of a fentanyl overdose. Tyler had been successful in school and sports, but injury and subsequent surgeries brought on an addiction to opioids, which eventually moved to heroin. This began a 6-year cycle of addiction and relapse. The family did everything it could to provide a path to recovery, but eventually Tyler ended up with a heroin laced with fentanyl. The person he was using with panicked and left him to die in a vacant lot. The immense grief overwhelmed Travis and his family, and it was his daughters that found the first outlet for their grief by bringing Tyler's story to their school and starting Hope United, their answer to the plague that had taken their brother. Then Travis used his own voice to share Tyler's story at a union conference and speak about the problem facing their community. He raised $1 million in donations in a little over an hour. Yeah, this family's used their platform and the immense effort to create Tyler's Redemption Place, a recovery community organization, which will open this year. The mission's to treat the whole person without any time limit so that they can truly receive the help they need. It's my honor to introduce Travis to the stage and to tell his story.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. So I don't do good behind podiums. I'm kind of a pacer. So first, let me just say thank you to all the work that you guys do in this space and what you do for our communities. So I would kind of like to just kind of share our story a little bit, kind of talk to you a little bit about what we do, and then just try to encourage you. So as you kind of heard in the bio, my son Tyler, he graduated from Lake High School in Stark County, mega cum laude. He was an all-league, all-county golfer. He actually had 2 hole-in-ones before he turned 16 years old. His senior year, instead of playing golf, he went out for the football team, and at the end of the season, he earned the Senior Ironman Award. And then after high school, he did a bodybuilding show, and in 2013, he was runner-up junior Mr. Ohio. So I always kind of say this, how does a kid like Tyler get addicted to heroin? How does a kid like Tyler get addicted to heroin? So here's what happened with Tyler. He had broke his right arm 4 times, and he had 2 surgeries on his right elbow. The first surgery was at age 11, and the second surgery was at age 18. And ultimately, he got addicted to the opiate prescription pain pills that led him to heroin. you guys already know this, but 4 out of 5 heroin users first began with the use of opiate prescription pain pills given to them by a doctor. Most of the time from maybe a car accident, a sports-related accident, an industrial-related accident. And so there is no doubt in my mind that the overprescribing of opiate prescription pain pills has led us to the worst drug epidemic in the history of our country. There's no doubt in my mind. So ultimately, once Tyler got addicted, the next 6 years of our life looked like relapse, recovery, relapse, recovery. Tyler could never get a year. He could get 6 months, he could get 8 months, but he could never get a year of sobriety. And so what happened on September 28th of 2014, my son was in the process of overdosing, and the person he was with, instead of calling 911 for help, he took my son to a vacant lot and he dumped him in a field and he left him there to die. The next day, the Summit County Sheriff showed up at my house and proceeded to tell my wife and 17-year-old daughter that a resident found a dead body in a vacant lot, and it was our 23-year-old son. And so for most of you, you're thinking of a 23-year-old young man laying in that field. But for my wife, Tyler's mother, she's thinking of the infant baby that she held, that she rocked, that she sang songs to. And for me, as Tyler's father, I think of the young man that I used to wrestle with and play games with and taught how to play throw a football. And so I guess the question is, what do you do when all your hopes and dreams are dumped in a field and left to die? What do you do? How do you respond? How do you respond? And so for me, this was one of the questions that I came to try to help myself get better. Does life happen to me, or does life happen for me? See, because if life happens to me, then I am always the victim. But if life happens for me, then there's a blessing on the other side. There's a blessing on the other side. And so my wife and I decided to take the worst thing that could possibly happen to us and try to use it in a way to help promote change and try to create something that was bigger than ourselves. And so Tyler passed in 2014. In 2016, I gave a speech at the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Convention. I'm the president and principal officer of Teamsters Local 24 in Akron. Been in that position for the last 30 years. Every 5 years, the Teamsters Union, we have our convention. And I wrote a letter to our general president, and I told our general president, I said, as community leaders, as union leaders, we are community leaders. And there's nothing impacting our communities like the opiate epidemic. So the general president gave me an opportunity to speak at the convention. There's about 5,000 Teamsters in the room. And I kind of shared our story, and I talked for about 15 minutes. And after I was done, Teamsters started coming to the mic from all across the country, making pledges to support our nonprofit. First donation was $5,000, second donation was $10,000, third donation was $50,000. In like an hour, we raised $1 million. Okay? So what's that mean? It means your stories matter, right? Our life journey matters. You don't know what God might do when you think you are broken and unable to step up. You just don't know how God might use you in your story. And so what that gave us an opportunity to do is now we had money and we could do the research, and we started thinking is how can we change our community? And so you guys already know this, but you know, the current system, it's kind of broke, right? It's just, man, it's really, for folks in recovery, man, it's really hard. And so, we think about 30, 60, 90 days treatment, tap you on the butt and say good luck, and then we wonder why 70% of people relapse, right? Right? Because we don't have a long-term strategy for a long-term game. See, recovery is not a short-term game. It's a long-term game. And we have to develop long-term strategies to help change our community, right? And I challenge everybody in the room, and I say this everywhere I go, like if you ain't in this for the long term, you're in the wrong space. You're in the wrong space, man. Because this is not going to change because you showed up for a week. This is going to change because you show up every day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And that's how the epidemic's gonna change. And so in 2023, we built the first RCO in Summit County. An RCO is a recovery community organization. And so everything we do is to try to help people after that 30, 60, 90 days treatment to help them get to long-term recovery, okay? And we always talk about mind, body, spirit in a community setting. If you're gonna have people transform, you gotta help them transform their mind, their body, their spirit in a community setting. And what we learned during COVID is that we all got sick in isolation, right? We need people, we need each other, right? And so that's why we talk so much about community. So we have, the education piece of our organization looks like this. I kind of get out and I share our story and I talk to the communities and speak in churches and conferences and with employers and unions all across our state and all across the country. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And then our support piece looks like we have grief support and family support. We have grief support for families that's lost a child or a loved one due to the disease of addiction. We have family support for families who have someone in active addiction or active recovery. And then our recovery piece is Tyler's Redemption Place. And in there, we have countless meetings, from AA meetings to Smart Recovery. We have Bible studies, we have life lessons, we have wellness programs. So this is a 7,500 square feet log cabin just on the outskirts of Akron, Ohio. And it is the first RCO in Summit County. There's probably about 14 or 15 RCOs across the state of Ohio. Has anybody ever heard of an RCO? Anybody got an RCO in their community? Awesome, great. And so I believe that every community needs an RCO because that's where real change is gonna happen. Is there any veterans in the room? Yeah, thank you guys so much for your service, man. Thank you guys very much. I served 6 years in the United States Marine Corps, 4 years active duty, and 2 years in active reserves. And veterans are a big piece of this thing for me. And so I also get the opportunity to work with Summit County's Valor Court. And the Valor Court is where we have some veterans that made a few mistakes, got in some trouble, mostly with drugs and alcohol. And if they make it through this program, it's 12 to 24 month program. Some takes longer than others. And, but if you make it through this program, maybe it can keep you out of jail, maybe it can keep a felony off your record, right? And so I met this young man, his name's Pat Hill. I met him in the Valor Court program. And I brought him with me today. And so he's here, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about Pat. So yesterday, Pat and I are here, and I kind of come in the space, and we're walking around. He got a chance to meet Dan, and Pat goes, "Man, these guys are all cops?" I go, "Yeah, man, a lot of them are." He goes, "Man, first time I've been in space without handcuffs. You know, a bunch of cops, and I'm not handcuffed." Pat and I was walking around the room, and I said, "You're doing good, bud. We're doing good, man." And so as we're walking back towards the fitness center, Pat tells me, he goes, "Trav, man," he goes, "I had a cop Narcan me and saved my life." And I almost started crying. And I started thinking to myself, like, I actually said a prayer. And I said, thank God that that cop had enough love and compassion in his heart to save my buddy. See, because that cop didn't know that Pat Hill volunteering enlisted in the United States Army, right? That cop didn't know that Pat Hill is a Tier 1 special operator with the 75th Ranger Regiment. See, that cop didn't know that Pat has received several citations for valor in combat. See, that cop didn't know that Pat Hill struggled with his own physical disabilities and was masking his pain through drugs and alcohol. See, that cop didn't know that Pat Hill's platoon sergeant, right, somebody that Pat loved and respected, died in combat and received our country's highest award, the Medal of Honor. That cop didn't know none of that, but he saved this kid's life, right? And so today, I get to introduce to you my friend Pat Hill, who has 18 months of sobriety. And see, in our current system, and this is what we do, right? We have a tendency to call people like Pat Hill, we call them drunks, we call them alcoholics, we call them crackheads, we call them junkies, right? We say all these things, and let me tell you, that's not who Pat Hill is. See, Pat Hill is somebody who struggles with substance use. But let me tell you, you know who Pat Hill is? Pat Hill is an American hero. That's who he is. And this is happening all across our country. We've been in war, as you guys know, for over 20 years. And I think we're doing a very, very disservice to our veterans, man. I think we're doing a very disservice to our veterans. And it's an honor for me to get the opportunity to work with young men, to try to use my life experience, and to try to use some of the hardest pain in my life in a way to actually inspire and try to encourage others. And so today, you know, what I want to say to you is that the work you do is invaluable, right? Nobody does this to get rich. Nobody does this for awards. Nobody does this for recognition. But see, I don't believe that God lets us go through pain and tragedy to torture us. See, I believe that God lets us go through these kind of things to shape us, to mold us, to change us. Why? So we can use our life experiences to help somebody else. To help somebody else. And so I want to leave you with this. The question is, are we put here to live a selfish, self-centered life about me, myself, and I? Or are we put here to try to come alongside each other with love and compassion and with a servant heart change our community? I believe that's what we're here for, and I believe that's what each and every one of you do. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to kind of share our story this morning, or this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Travis, badass, awesome, thank you. It's folks like Travis and folks like Dan Malloy and you folks in this room that just fill my heart and just fill me with energy and excitement, and whew, that was awesome. That was awesome. And to all the veterans in the room, thank you. Pat, thank you, brother. Awesome. Awesome and good for you. It's infectious. You come to these events and you sit in a room full of people who share your passion. I bet some days you guys go to work and you sit in your cubicle or you sit at your desk or you're in your car, you're on your phone, and you feel like you're the only one that cares some days. Not every day, but some days I'll bet you have that feeling. And just know that you're not. There are a lot of people that care and a lot of people that are working really hard every day to just try to help one person. Just help one person. So in those moments where you're feeling like it's just you, and maybe for some communities, you might be the only person that's got this job. And if that's the case, there's a whole network of people here that want to help and support you and care about you. So please, please, please make those connections while you're here the rest of this week and have that built-in support system. But thank you, Travis. That takes a lot of guts to get up and tell that story and to tell it the way that you do. And I suspect the version we got today is a lot different than the first version of that story. Yeah. Travis and Dan and I were talking about these whole scripts and things. Man, that's not how we operate. It's just freaking us out a little bit. It freaks me out enough that I missed another page of text. I came walking off the stage. I'm like, yeah, that introduction was awesome. And I hit the office hours and the camera stuff, and I read all the sponsors. Megan's like, oh. The face of disappointment. Sorry. So I'm going to make up for that now to our dear friends from the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, and I'm going to invite you to come to the stage and share with us about the impactful work that you're doing.
Hi, my name is Lenora Godfrey, and I'm the President and CEO of the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. And I do want to say thank you to Travis and Pat, because you've taken a loss and turned it into hope for not just your family, but for those families that precede you. So thank you. So just a little bit about the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. In the state of Ohio, for you all that are not Ohio residents, in the state of Ohio, by Ohio Revised Code 340, boards were created, and boards were created to plan, fund, and manage behavioral health services, which include mental health and substance use disorder services. So in the state of Ohio, out of 88 counties, there's 51 boards that serve residents that have no other means to pay for services. So those that we would call the indigent clients. So many, many years ago, my predecessor sat at the table with the county commissioner. You heard her this morning, Denise Treehouse, and it was maybe 2 or 3 other individuals there who represented the law enforcement, the commissioners, and the board. And they sat and said, we have to do something. But if you hear, and you've probably heard through the sessions that you were in, it takes a community. And so one common thread that you've probably heard, and Commissioner Driehaus talked about it, is the collaboration. We are an administrative board. We have 38 contract agencies. So we don't provide any direct service, but the community provides it. And so what you'll hear as you're listening in these sessions, and as you'll have the opportunity to sit down with experts, you'll hear some innovative and transformative programs that have really made an impact on and served our community and basically changed the fabric of Hamilton County. So I want you to really take that opportunity as you sit with these folks, ask the questions, inquire about the programs so that you can return to your communities and institute some of those. They may look different. Hamilton County is unique in itself. They may look different, but you'll have that opportunity to take whatever you hear and what you see and what is working and pair it to your community and what will work where you are at. So I just, again, thank the Ohio Deflection Association for allowing me to come up here and be with you all through this event, because there's some powerful information that you'll receive, and I just hope that you take all of it and use it. And next year when we're here again, you'll be telling the stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenora, and I apologize that I missed you out of place, but I think it worked better that way. Right? Right. So the recovery boards and the ADAM boards here in Ohio are just amazing, amazing partners. By show of hands for the folks that are from Ohio, how many of you work with or are connected to your ADAM board or your recovery board in your community? It's awesome. It's awesome. That's huge stuff, folks, and I encourage you to continue building those relationships. I know for me, when I was the commander of our task force and we were talking and thinking about what we were going to do, one of the first people that I met and connected with was associated with our ADAM board, our prevention specialist, Tony Ashton, who's sitting right over there. And I was brand new as a drug task force commander, brand new in the community. And I went and met with Tony, and she could not have been more warm and gracious and inviting, and proposed this kind of ridiculous notion and idea that, you know, as drug cops, we might be able to do something more than what we've been doing to impact this issue in our community. And she was like, giddy up, let's go. And so thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Now, I think we're going to watch a video message from Ohio Attorney General David Yost.
Hi, I'm Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person for the 4th annual ODA Summit, but I wanted to take a moment to express my deep appreciation for the vital work the association is doing across the state, including expanding training to all of you. ODA's dedication to enhancing public safety through innovative deflection strategies continues to make an impact in communities across the state. By bringing together law enforcement, health professionals, community leaders, you're helping to reshape how we address issues like mental health and substance use, all while reducing the strain on our criminal justice system. That's a big lift. And your efforts are becoming a model for collaboration and a testament to the power of working together to build safer, more supportive communities. For that, I thank you, and you have my support. And while I can't be there today, I look forward to hearing about the outcome of the summit and the continued progress you're making. Thanks for taking time to attend today and for your work to help these important initiatives grow throughout Ohio.
There you go, Attorney General David Yost. And, you know, to the Attorney General's credit,
I'm Ohio.
he's the AG. I was going to shut up and let him go again. He's been an incredible supporter of deflection initiatives across the state, and Ohio's kind of a little bit different than maybe some other states where our Attorney General's office is not a cabinet level office within state government here. So, you know, while we have incredible support from the DeWine administration, Ohio's governor, we've also had the Attorney General step up and recognize deflection programming and offer lots of money in the form of DART grants. And I know some of the folks in here are working and receiving funding as a result of the AG's office's DART grants. So we certainly want to thank the Attorney General's office for that. Now, on to the stated deflection, and just a couple things before I bring Dan up on stage. I mentioned my meeting with Tony Ashton over there from the Adam Board, and you know, when I talked about the thought and the ideas that we were thinking about in terms of deflection programming or QRT at that time, Tony brought it to my attention. She said, well, there's this guy who's in Colerain Township down in Hamilton County that runs a program, and they're having some kind of training summit, and we should go. And I was like, okay, let's go. Do you remember that, Tony? Yeah, and that was in 2015, and I went to Colerain Township, and I'd not met Dan Malloy. I had heard of him, but I had not met him. And I sat in that room, and dude, blown away by the passion and the excitement for this work that he was doing in his community. I mean, it was killer. It was killer. And I just sat there, I remember thinking, that guy's my spirit animal. Like, that guy's got it going on. Is that weird? I don't know. You get to a certain age, you just say crap you don't know, and you just live with the consequences. And most people are like, he's old, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. That's what my kids say anyway. But I just remember leaving and being so inspired to go back to my community and try to do something even close to what they were doing in Colerain Township. And more importantly, to be as energized by that and excited about it. So it's going to be my honor to invite our president, Dan Malloy, to the stage for our stated deflectionary plenary. Dan's an invaluable member of not only the Ohio Deflection Association, but many boards and associations, and not just here in Ohio, but across the United States. He's become a really strong advocate for this work. And I know the Ohio Deflection Association would be lost, really, without Dan's leadership and guidance. And when we thought about creating this thing, he was just right at the top of my head as the guy who needs to lead this initiative. Not only because of that passion and excitement and his vision, but because Dan brought so much credibility to what he does and how he presents himself. He really is a trailblazer for his expertise, and he continues to be an incredible resource, not only to this community in Hamilton County where he lives, but to communities all across the state of Ohio and again, the United States. Dan's got 33 years in public service. He served in various roles from the United States Army, one of your brothers right there, Pat, police officer. Dan was a chief of police. He was a director of public safety and the CEO administrator for Coleraine, Ohio. When he retired, he continued his service on the Hamilton County Board of Health, where he still currently serves as its president. Dan's commitment to growth and leadership is reflected in his educational achievements, including his graduation from the FBI National Academy. Dan has a bachelor's degree from the University of Cincinnati and a master's in public administration from Northern Kentucky University. Through his work, Dan has become a leader in community health and public safety collaboration, partnering with states across the nation to mentor and train community leaders in implementing effective collaborative community responses. As a founding member and president of the Ohio Deflection Association, Dan continues to lead us in the mission to support and advance deflection initiatives, not only here in Ohio, but across those 14 states that are represented here, and Canada. Did our Canadians make it? Are they here? Do we know? They're probably drinking a Labatt's with the guys from Boston, I would bet. Nicole's like, yes, they are, as a matter of fact. So listen, he's one of my dear friends. I can't think of a whole lot of people that I have as much respect for professionally and personally as Dan Malloy, because what you see here on this stage and the person that he is when you talk to him in the hallway, that's the guy he is 24/7. Never deviates. It's not some act. This guy lives and breathes it, and he believes it. It's part of the fabric of who he is, and he inspires me each and every day. And so it's my honor to welcome our president, Dan Malloy.
Okay. Did you hear what he said to me? Yeah, that whole spirit animal thing, that was just a little bit weird. But so this is what you get for talking about me this morning. So I'll give it right back to you. It's an honor absolutely to be with you. It's absolutely an honor to be in the room with leaders and people willing to think differently, challenge the way we do business, push the envelope to say, you know what? If we haven't tried it, I think it's worth giving it a try, right? Because change is possible because we're talking about people and families. We're not talking about manufacturing line, no disrespect to manufacturing, no disrespect to the widget industry. We're talking about people and families. The decisions we make, the actions we take, the collaborations that we initiate are direct service providers to our communities. And people's lives change because you choose to do something differently. You choose to engage. You choose to conduct the outreach. You choose to think differently. We're excited to be here with you today. We're excited to talk about what's happened in the last year since we stood together in this room and we talked about the state of deflection. I will just share with you, can we just give another round of applause to Travis and Pat, please? I had the honor to meet Travis in 2016, Greene County, Ohio. We were up there meeting folks, talking about what we do, and Travis was sitting in the second row of the audience. Travis is a big dude, you saw that. And I'm talking, he's just looking at me. And I'm thinking, he's thinking hard. I'm going to talk to him when I'm done. So I'm wondering, is there something that we're saying that we... So I walked up to him after we got done with the presentation. I said, how you doing? Just wanted to introduce myself. You're sitting in the second row. You were engaged. But I couldn't read you. He shared his story with me. Could have knocked me over, right? Knocked us all over with that feather. The reality of what he was dealing with and how you, as a parent, all these things run through your mind. And I thought, he's going to make things happen. And he just handed me the brochure that lays out Tyler's Redemption. The property, the building, the facility, all the resources. Vision became a reality. And I've heard it before. I heard it this morning. Didn't expect to be here. Didn't expect to be working in this space, but I'm doing it. I'm committed. And I said, that's the difference. What's in this room, everybody in this room cares. This isn't just a job. This isn't just something that we do. You've chosen to be part of this because you care about making a difference, making an impact. The reality is that's what is the secret in the sauce. Anybody can check the box because that's the job that they were given. That's the responsibility they were tasked with. But when you care, you move it from good to great. Caring is the secret in the sauce. That's the excitement. And again, to see Travis 9 years later, and to see that vision and that purpose became a reality in the service that he's providing and the commitment he has, not only to his community, but across the country. Good people making a difference. So that's you, that's us together. Let's look at what we want to talk about. These are the pathways. This is the work being done. This is where you fit. You may fit within one. You may fit within more than one. You may fit within them all, within the providing of service that you have, the partnerships that you have. We do self-referral. We do active outreach. We do intervention, prevention, and so on. It's fun to sit in the room because some folks have never seen these different models, these different opportunities to engage. And you can see them and you hear them walking out of the room like, we do them all. Didn't know this. We were funded to do one, but we do more because we realize there's more ways to serve than just what you may have been funded through a grant to do. Because the reality is there's people in our community and we have to work and figure out how best to serve them. So we open to the reality, and that's what's happening not only in the state of Ohio, it's happening within the region. They're happening in the states represented earlier, except we forgot Massachusetts because we forgot about that whole over the roll thing and under the roll thing that Mike brought from Massachusetts. That's a whole other conversation too. We can talk about it across the street tonight, and we forgot the state of Texas. We can't forget the state of Texas because that's a pretty big state, but the reality is we come together, we learn from each other, we spend time together. This is all great stuff. This is the work that's happening. Let's look a little bit at the numbers that are happening just for the state of Ohio. Since January of 2017 to the end of, actually it should be 2024. That's all right. We're a team. We'll take it. Referrals to the QRTs, 50,713. Referrals to the teams, meaning we made a referral to one of the teams to do what? Interactions, 139,000+ interactions. So 50,000 referrals, almost 3 times the number of interactions. What's that mean? It means we're not just following up on overdoses. We're not just making one trip and not going back. We're building a relationship. We're working together. How can we help you? We're here for you. Make sure you can call us back. If you need something, don't hesitate. We're doing the active outreach. We're in the neighborhood. Let's stop by and see Dan. Let's check in on him. We're not just doing a job, we're doing it better. We care. It's a big deal. Successful QRT contacts, 89,000+. Referrals and connections to support services, 13,000. Referrals and connections to treatment, almost 15,000. And the documented overdoses within that time, 18,000. So again, we are not just following up to an overdose. We are engaging in our community, listening, learning, communicating, educating, and responding differently than we did 8+ years ago. We're thinking differently, and we are changing the way we do business. We're very proud of that. You add in the numbers for the state of West Virginia, states of Connecticut, states of Wisconsin, state of Kentucky that are starting to collect this data as well. The interactions are well over 220,000. The referrals are almost 80,000. The work is being done. The teams are building relationships within their communities. And this was what Nan Franks told me 12 years ago. We work on trust and credibility. What we say means something. What we do means something. We can never let that down. We have to be trusted. You have to work that way. The relationships you develop can be lost in a moment if you don't live up to that standard. Trust and credible relationships. Extremely powerful, extremely important to the work we do, and it shows by the numbers, it shows by the connections, it shows by the referrals and the relationships. If you get it, how many had a chance to step into Aaron Reed's predictive analytics today? We're excited about this dashboard that is in the process of, it's now launched, and she is working across the state of Ohio with our regional representatives to initiate trainings and connections within our regions. So if you're working within the regions, that partnership's bringing, we're going to bring her to you guys so you can understand more about how we can use this and how we can learn about it and make it part of our response. So again, the world is continuing to evolve. People are listening to us. They weren't listening to us 10 years ago. There's people that weren't listening to us last year that are now listening to us. We're ever growing in that relationship build, but we're excited about the work that the governor's office and Recovery Ohio has put into establishing this early warning dashboard. And I forget who told me this last night. This dashboard came within 5 of predicting the overdoses last month. Who told me that? Dennis, can you share it again? Was I right?
Yeah, a couple months before this thing got launched, I met with Erin and was talking to her because we're working on a project at OCJS and it's going to be connected to this. And she said that predictive model in the month prior had predicted within 5 the number of overdoses that would occur in the state of Ohio. Within 5 of those.
So this is a big deal. Again, we're learning. We're using data to help us shape the story, build response. This conversation around predictive analytics was something that y'all met Dr. Kelly Firesheets. That was something that we were talking about 10 years ago. Didn't know what that meant, but we know that it was being used when it came to gang violence and shootings and things of that nature in some communities, and we wanted to translate that to our response to overdoses and incidents where we could, hey, can we proactively engage folks and maybe understand and keep that incident from occurring? We're excited about the commitment that the governor's office has made to say, hey, we want to get this done. So again, stay engaged with that. We'll continue to educate with that. The future. Continue to listen to you, continue to understand and try to work through. You heard Cordata's involvement, the relationship between the state, the understanding that funding is important. We saw the room change and stand and then sit down. That long-term funding, that long-term sustainability of how do we ensure that you guys keep doing what you're doing. That relationship and that education and that understanding is we're always educating up. We want you to be that voice within your community. So if somebody says, hey, there's local abatement dollars, how should we spend that? Come to you. You're the experts. Be a part of that conversation. We want to ensure that you have a voice when it comes to what this dollar means. So again, we're going to continue to move that. In August of 2024, we made our application to the IRS to become a nonprofit. We're still waiting for that answer, but we're sitting and waiting, but we're excited about what that's going to mean. We just yesterday as a board voted to hire the first executive director for the Ohio Deflection Association, Mr. Tom Fallon. Tom Fallon was a member of our board, has been with us every year we've been here. Tom is going to move from an at-large position to the executive director board. It's a part-time position. Tom's excited about that. We'll introduce him a little more tomorrow, and then he'll get up on stage with us actually on Friday. So, Tom, we feel good about the direction that we're going as an association in this conversation around deflection. Again, you see him moving around, take him, pull him aside. Hey, I want to get your ear. I want to talk about you. This is your organization. This summit is built on what is it that you guys are asking for? What do you want to learn? What do you need? You know, you're going to sit in that breakout and you're going to meet with Nicole and Scotty and work through. You guys took the survey that said, what do we need? This organization pulled money and put that money into a space to help get you the supplies that you need, whether it's hygiene kits, warm blankets, dog food. What is it that you need? Scotty and Nicole are going to be sitting down, meet with you guys, get that order for you, and we'll get those supplies back out to you. That's important. The ability to provide mini grants to many of the organizations in this association. You applied for grants, you got money, and then you realize we're not allowed to spend the grant money on that. And sometimes it's the simplest things. But tomorrow you're going to see folks stand on this stage, and you're going to see some folks that apply that they don't know that they got it. We're going to call them up and give them the award. It's $1,000 we give them for just what is it that you need? Is it to be able to buy coffee and donuts for a training event that you have in your community? You know what? You can't spend federal funds on food sometimes. All the time. You want to buy birth certificates or IDs, you want to pay for food, you want to buy a coat, you want to give somebody a pack of cigarettes. You got to find the money for that. That's what it's for. So the ability to give you back those things that you need. We work for you. That's a big deal. Share with each other, promote your successes, learn from each other. Again, everybody operates a little bit differently. That is the coolest part about what we do. Every community is different. Every makeup of the teams are different. That's the flexibility within the model that says this works for my community. Share with each other. Talk about it. Ask questions. Whether it's at lunch, whether it's in one of these rooms, take the time to absolutely meet people that you do not know. We have a tendency to move with the folks that we know. Step outside and I can't tell you, we sat down at lunch. I sat down at a table I'd never sat down with before. And by the time we were done, we're talking, we get to know each other, and then we're getting up, moving to another table to make introductions. That's what this is about. We've got to take the advantage of being in the room with people that we don't know. We're all friends here, right? I don't think anyone's going to say, I don't have time for you. That's what we do. That's the whole part about why we have a half an hour break here, or we have this time there, or we have this restaurant facility right across the street so we can just walk across there and then hang out. No matter what you want to eat, you come together, sit at the tables, and you just talk. Get to know each other, share business cards, share stories. That's the important part of it. As you think about funding and sustainability, advocate for the field. Because everyone's looking for that opportunity to say, well, are you sure? We all raise each other up. We're all one initiative. We're all one team. It doesn't matter how you work or what you do, we raise each other up because everyone doesn't understand this. We have to take advantage of when we have that space, when we have that voice. We talk about, man, you'd be really excited to see what's happening here, Southwest Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, wherever that may be. It's really cool to watch what's happening in the region, in the state, whatever that may be. The work is spreading and the impact is absolutely a reality. Bring more partners to the table and think about how we can get more people as well. Think about our service to the community members that we provide and just think bigger with simple questions like, how can we help you today? Because it might not be what we think. It might not be why we went there in the first place. They might need something. You might look at somebody, you walk up to the front porch, they answer the door, and your first thing is, man, have you eaten? When's the last time you ate? 4 days ago. You know what? Let's get you something to eat first. Let's get you something to eat. Then we'll sit down and talk. You okay with that? Again, we're taking care of people here. That's at the core of who we are and what we do. I don't care whether you're police, fire. I don't care. We're people, we're human beings. We've got to model the behavior, we've got to demonstrate it, show how much of a leader we truly are, be in the room, be present, and be willing to think a little bit differently and operate just a little bit differently. And then, again, not to take all day, because I could talk all day about the power of what we do, is please be here Friday morning. You are the Ohio Deflection Association. I don't care where you're from. Being here, you are a member. Be here for the membership meeting. Be here to listen and learn. We're going to update you on everything that we've done, all the work, whether it be the bylaws or the application for the IRS or the hiring of the executive director or all that. Give you updates on all the things that are happening so you can have a chance to listen. And then we'll start that at what time? 9 a.m. And then we'll break out of here and go straight to the breakouts, and that'll be pretty much the last session before we end this event. So, again, make sure I don't have another slide. See, there we go. It's an honor to be in the room with you guys. It's an honor, again, how many people said, I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing today? I know, right? But we like to say, and you ask these guys to my left, because I know them very well, they love their careers. But this is some of the most rewarding work that we've ever gotten to do. The ability to work with people, and I like to say it, it's unbelievable to be able to work with people that care and give a damn all the time. Not just this much, but all of themselves. Let's take care of each other. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's make sure that we enjoy this event, make sure we enjoy the opportunity to be together. Eat well, which is always our number one, right? And then keep coming back. And I think Dennis said it this morning. It's going to start here, and it's going to go from, things are going to happen after you leave here. Don't hesitate to accept that phone call or respond to that email or reach out and say, hey, I met you at the ODA. You mind if we get on a, I hate saying this, but mind if we get on a Zoom or something, you know, because we all hate Zooms, but can we get on a Zoom and just catch up and just talk about maybe how we can learn from each other or maybe work together? Because that does happen. That does happen from here, and that's what we're about. So, again, thank you for all that you do. Thanks for your willingness to be in this room with us, and thank you for your service to your communities, because it does make a difference. Thank you so much.
That guy, he's something, isn't he? Okay, by show of hands, how many people here today have interacted and met someone you didn't know before you got here today? Boom. Look at that, Dan. See that? I love it. It's awesome. There's my new friends from Brown County, right? Woo woo. Claremont. Wasn't some? There you go. Yeah, I love it. Mike, have the Canadians made it yet? Jeez. All right, we're on 24-hour Canadian sled dog watch. It's happening. Dan, or can we put out an alert on the Hoover app when they get here? Just so we know they made it. We need the Canadians. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's been a long day. I recognize that. But overall, I think it's been a really, really exceptional day. Great learning opportunities. So before we close out, just a couple things. Don't forget to visit the vendors and exhibitors and get your bingo cards filled out so you can get in for the $50 drawing. If that's what it takes to get you there, that's what we'll do, right? And there's a lot of sneaking and things going on.
We only have 14 slots left for the headshot schedule.
Okay, well, that was next.
Okay.
So last year, for those of you that attended, you know that we brought in a professional photographer. He's a retired police chief. His name's Mark Denny. He's a retired chief of Coleraine Township. And he came in here last year and did professional headshot photographs for anybody that wanted one. And if you don't have a professional headshot, I would encourage you to jump on that Hoover app or scan the QR code that's in your paper agenda and schedule that appointment. And I'm telling you, I got the picture back and I was like, damn. I actually look pretty good in this photograph. And that doesn't happen often, trust me. He did an exceptional job. And it was really special. Just very briefly, when I came out of my headshot, or excuse me, when I was going in to get mine done, the person coming out was one of our peer supporters that was at the conference last year. And to see how excited they were to have this opportunity to have a professional headshot that they could attach to, emails or their whatever, it just was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So please take advantage of that service. If you don't have one, you got one from like 15 years ago. So as the president says, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. Just your time. Just your time. Takes 10 minutes, max. 10 minutes, he sets you in the chair. You'll get the tilt of the head. It'll look just like your senior photograph from high school. It's awesome. We were going to do that. We actually had a ridiculous notion that we should, instead of the regular headshots, we should put our senior pictures up here for everybody to see. That's not happening. Don't get excited. For those of you using a paper agenda, for tomorrow's session titled Police-Led Deflection, Building Trust Between Police and Community, that's going to be located in the Over the Rhine room and not in Mount Auburn. Correct? Yes. For those of you using the Whova app, it's all good. Correct information. But if you've got one of the paper agendas, just make that note. And then finally, don't forget that tomorrow morning, our breakout session C, which is going to kick off at 9 a.m., is an office hour session. And I'm really excited to say that that session is titled Navigating Grant Writing and Compliance, Strategies for Success. And we are thrilled to have some leadership and subject matter experts from Ohio's Office of Criminal Justice Services. Woo, woo, that's where I work. And the folks that we're going to have in that session tomorrow, they are exceptional folks. I listen to them and see them every day interacting with grantees from around the state of Ohio, and they're incredibly patient with those folks. They're incredibly helpful, and they actually care. I've had multiple conversations where they're, you would think they would be frustrated because there's been exchanges back and forth of documents 20 times, and we need to help them get this money. We need to help them through this process. That's the attitude they bring to it every day. So please come and take advantage of that. And that's whether, you're looking for information on grant opportunities, if you want information on, writing skills and how do you do a grant, what's the process, what does it entail? We're going to give you all that information tomorrow morning. And I think you'll find it really, really helpful. So please don't miss that tomorrow morning. Before we end, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any thoughts that would make tomorrow even better than today? No? Okay. Give yourselves a round of applause for being freaking awesome. And Travis, it's a badass sport coat. You know what that reminds me of when I see it? Yeah, that's right. We know that Travis and Ryan Day, head coach of the Ohio State University, shop at the same jacket store. It's enough. The president said it's enough, so it's enough. Have a good evening, be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.